Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into the world of Google Merchant Center today.
Yeah.
Specifically, we are going to be zeroing in on this thing called the ads to organic ratio.
Right.
And this is really going to be your secret weapon to skyrocket your product visibility
Absolutely.
without having to, rely solely on paid advertising.
Well, and I think what's so compelling about this ratio is it gives us such a nuanced view, right,
All
of
right.
your e-commerce performance because we start to see beyond ad spend, right?
Yeah.
Like, are you balancing paid strategies with a really strong organic presence?
So let's break it down. What exactly is this ratio and how does it work?
Yeah. So at its heart, the ads to organic ratio is really a straightforward calculation, right?
Okay.
You are simply dividing the number of times your product listings are shown in those ads
Mhm.
by the number of times they're popping up organically in the search results.
Gotcha.
So like a high ratio
Yeah.
means you're really leaning in on paid advertising to be seen.
Okay.
And a lower ratio is indicating those products are organically ranking quite well.
Okay, so for someone who's relatively new to Google Merchant Center, what does a higher-low ratio tell them about, their overall strategy?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Just imagine like you're a customer
Yeah.
and you're searching for, we'll say, noise canceling headphones.
Okay, sure.
If a company has a ratio of 10, that means for every 10 sponsored headphone ads you're seeing, only one listing is ranking highly without that paid support, right?
Yeah.
So that can kind of tip off a business like, we might need to shift our efforts.
So it's almost like you get a little window into how much a competitor is depending on paid ads
Yes.
versus how strong their, search engine optimization organically is.
That's right.
That's some good intel.
It is.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's precisely why understanding this ratio is so critical to e-com success, right?
Right.
Because it becomes this powerful tool for competitive analysis, right?
Yeah.
Because by looking at your competitors' ratios, you're getting this glimpse into their overall strategy.
Okay.
Are they pouring tons of resources into ads, or are they winning the organic game?
Right.
And that's really powerful information to then inform your own approach.
Instead of just going in blind,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
have like these insights that could give you a real competitive advantage.
Yeah, it's like peeping behind the curtain and seeing how they're playing the game.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it goes beyond just, competitive analysis.
Okay.
This ratio offers incredible insights into your own product performance.
Okay.
You start to see which products naturally shine in organic search.
Right.
Right. Attracting customers without needing that paid push.
Yeah.
And you start to see which ones might need a little extra help
Yeah.
to get in front of those potential buyers.
This feels like a game changer in terms of you knowing where to spend your time, where to spend your budget.
Totally.
Instead of just like, that spray and pray method, you can be like, laser focused.
Yes.
Laser focused on what's going to actually make a difference.
Now, you're probably thinking this ratio, this is like the ultimate shortcut. It's like e-commerce domination, right? And while it is incredibly powerful,
Yeah.
it's not always easy to,
Mm-hmm.
to find that perfect balance.
Right. You can't just like snap your fingers and magically have a perfect ads to organic ratio, right?
Exactly.
It's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
No, it's an ongoing process. And one of those biggest challenges is figuring out that sweet spot
Yeah.
between, your paid advertising efforts and that organic reach, right?
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in thinking one is inherently better,
Yeah.
but the reality is it depends, right?
Yeah.
It depends on your industry, it depends on who you're trying to reach.
Right.
And it even depends on those, Google algorithms that are always changing, right?
So it's more nuanced than just saying like scrap all the paid ads. We're just going to bank on organic search.
Well, and sometimes,
Yeah.
you need that initial boost from paid advertising.
Right.
Especially if you have a brand new product.
Right.
You're trying to stand out in a really crowded market, right?
Yeah.
But other times, focusing on building a strong organic presence
Right.
through things like great content and SEO, that's going to be the most effective approach.
Okay.
So it's really about,
Yeah.
understanding when and how to leverage each approach, for the biggest impact.
I'm curious about the practical side of this.
Yeah.
What are some tangible things that people listening can do to start to kind of optimize that balance?
Yeah. So one often really underestimated factor is the power of those customer reviews.
Okay.
And, we think about positive reviews. We're like, oh, yeah, get those positive reviews.
Like ego boost.
But they actually make a really big difference
Okay.
in your organic ranking on Google Shopping.
It's interesting, though, how much weight those reviews carry, I think.
Totally.
Not just for shoppers who are, like, reading the reviews, but also for, like, Google itself.
Absolutely. And that's because,
Yeah.
Google views those positive reviews, especially those detailed ones,
Okay.
as this strong signal
Yeah.
of credibility and trustworthiness.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So the more positive reviews you have, the more likely it is
Right.
that your products are going to organically rank higher in those searches.
Right.
Which then, of course, we talked about that directly ties back
Yep.
to that ads to organic ratio.
Yeah, it's like this. It sounds like this, like, powerful cycle where it's like if you have a good product,
Yes,
then you're naturally going to get good reviews, hopefully.
exactly.
And then that is going to help boost your organic visibility.
Totally.
So you might not even need to spend as much in paid advertising.
Exactly.
It's good for everybody.
This is a win-win.
It's a win-win, yeah.
But here's where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
It's not just about getting any review right.
Oh,
It's about encouraging your customers to leave those high-quality, detailed reviews that genuinely help other shoppers.
okay. So it's not just about quantity.
Yeah.
It's about, like, the quality of the review.
Exactly. Think about it this way. Yeah.
A review that just says, great product,
Yeah.
fine, but it's not really telling me anything.
Right.
Now, a review that goes into detail about the product's features.
Right.
How it performed, what the
Yeah.
customer loved about it, what they might change.
Right.
That's gold.
Okay.
That is the type of review that not only influences other shoppers,
Yeah.
but sends those really strong signals to Google's algorithm.
Yeah. It's almost like the difference between getting a thumbs up
Yes.
versus like, a standing ovation.
Exactly.
It's like they both show approval, but one has so much more behind it.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. And when we connect this back
Yeah.
to the ads to organic ratio.
This is where it gets really strategic.
Yeah.
It all boils down to crafting this holistic strategy, right?
Right.
Where you're building this foundation
Yeah.
of organic visibility.
Right.
And those high quality customer reviews, I mean, that's a cornerstone of
Right.
that foundation, right?
Right.
But it's not the only element, right?
Right, because we can't forget about those algorithms.
Right. We've got Google always moving things around, updating things.
Right. Always at play.
So staying up to date on those changes
Right.
is absolutely critical.
Yeah, it's like we're shooting at a moving target.
It is.
We think we've mastered it, and then they're like,
Yeah.
nope, changing it up on you.
That's right. It's true. It's kind of like when you're like tending a garden,
Right.
right? You carefully plant the seeds.
Right, which are your product listings.
Right.
Yeah.
Make sure they've got that sunshine.
Yeah, those are your ad campaigns.
Exactly.
Yep.
But even when everything's like flourishing,
Right.
you still got to adjust, right,
Yeah, those algorithm updates.
to the changing seasons,
Right.
You've got to stay on top of it.
It's all about being vigilant
It is.
and being willing to, like,
Yeah.
adapt. Right.
And I think, just like that gardener has to be vigilant.
Right.
E-commerce, entrepreneurs really need to keep an eye on their data,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So that means regularly reviewing your Google Merchant Center data.
And it's not just about reviewing it, right?
Yeah.
No. It's about, like, understanding what it's telling you.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's working, what's not working.
Right.
How do any changes you make, whether it's to your ad campaigns, your product descriptions,
Right.
even, how you're encouraging those customer reviews,
Yeah.
how does that ultimately impact that ratio?
So it really is like a constant,
It's ongoing.
analyzing, adjusting, optimizing.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know what? And don't be afraid
Yeah.
to experiment a little bit, right?
Hey.
Try some different strategies.
Right, because you don't know what's going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See what resonates with your audience
Right.
and be willing to adapt as things change.
Yeah, it's all about, like,
Yes.
being, like, informed and like
Yeah.
agile.
Agile, I like that.
Yeah, and it kind of strikes me that, like, the real, like,
Yeah.
secret sauce here is, like, this balance between strategy
Yes.
and then also flexibility.
It is. You got to have a game plan.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to
Move with, the punches a little bit. Right?
Yeah, you got to be able to dance,
Right, exactly.
You learn the steps, but then it's like, okay, find your rhythm.
Right. You gotta feel the music.
Exactly. Feel the music. And you got to be willing to improvise a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. And the same is true, I think, for
It is.
finding success in e-commerce. It's like it's this journey, right?
Yes.
Of constantly learning
Going
and refining and adapting.
That's
And,
right.
so for anyone listening
Yeah.
who's like feeling maybe a little bit, overwhelmed by all this, what would you say? Like the key takeaway is
Yeah.
where should they like really focus their energy first?
I think the biggest thing to remember is that, that strong organic strategy.
Yeah.
That's the gift that keeps on giving.
Okay.
Right? Because it's about building that solid foundation
Yeah.
of those high quality listings, that engaging content, those authentic customer reviews,
Right.
and then you can sprinkle in, right?
Yeah.
That paid advertising, which is so powerful, but it's most powerful, I think, when you use it strategically in conjunction with that strong organic presence.
Right. Because you can get people to your site with paid advertising.
Yes.
But like if they get there
Yeah.
and it's like, not good,
It's a bad experience.
they're not going to stick around.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like inviting someone to your house.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Right. You might get them in the door, but if it's a mess, they're not going to stay.
Yeah. It's not a good foundation.
Yeah, it's not a good foundation.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be back.
No, they're not going to be back.
So that organic strategy, it's like building that,
Yeah.
really.
Right. That's building your house.
Yes, building the house.
On a solid foundation.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it can stand the test of time.
Yes.
Right. No matter what Google does,
Exactly.
you're still going to have that.
Right. So there you have it.
Yeah.
We've demystified the ads to organic ratio.
We did it.
We've talked about why it's so important,
We did.
and we've given you the tools
Yes.
to leverage it.
We have.
For e-commerce success on Google Merchant Center,
Yeah.
remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Not a sprint.
But with a little strategy and a little elbow grease,
A little elbow grease.
you're going to be well on your way
That's right.
to ranking higher,
Yes.
attracting customers,
Yes.
growing your business.
And you know what? You might even have a little fun along the way.
That's right. Yeah. A little fun never hurts.
That's right.
So until next time, everyone, happy selling.
Happy selling.